What is up, New Beginnings Church? Happy Monday morning to you, and welcome to our devotional series. This week, I want to talk about fasting. New Beginnings is starting 21 days of prayer and fasting, and I promise I'm going to get back to the red letter word series because we didn't finish it. I think we're stuck around Matthew chapter 15, so I'm going to get back to that. But between the start of the year and now the start of the fast, I feel like, man, it's time to lean into this. And so, as a matter of fact, if you're getting these devotions, it's because at some point you texted the word NBFAST to 31996. And every year in January, we fast. I think fasting is a really lost spiritual discipline. I think it's something we need to do more than just in January, and it's something that we need both corporately and in our personal lives. And if you don't know what fasting is, it's very simple. Fasting is abstaining from something for the purpose of focusing on God, and primarily it's referring to food, like the saints of old, they fasted food. They would go without food for a period of time for the purpose of seeking God. And so, but I think it's bigger than that for us. I think we have maybe guilty pleasures or sinful habits or other things in our life that we could really get rid of and be better for it. And so I think there's a lot of things that we can fast on a personal level. And then also think there's these partial fasts that we can do. I think there's things like a Daniel's fast that would be really, really good and really healthy for many of us. I talked to a young woman who said, I've never fasted before. Didn't even know what you were talking about, but I'm very curious. Where do I begin? And I told her, hey, try doing just a partial fast to start with, because fasting is a spiritual discipline, meaning you grow in that discipline. I'm not a runner, but like if you told me, hey, Todd, you got to run a marathon, I wouldn't just go run 26 miles the next day. I'd probably injure myself, right? And so what I would do, though, is I would say, okay, well, every day I want to start incorporating walking and running and then figure out the best way to go about doing that. And I would slowly build out my spiritual discipline or my physical discipline in that case. And so anyway, we encouraged her to, hey, start with a partial fast. And so whatever you're doing, do something. Ask the Lord, say, God, what can I give up? What can I sacrifice? What can I cut out of my life and abstain from for the purpose of focusing on you? I mean, we deal with things like the 24-hour news cycle and social media. And we have just, again, certain things that we just are better off cutting out of our lives. And so this is it, church. This is a 21-day call to prayer and fasting. And on Sunday, if you missed it, go watch, because I kind of get into fasting and I get into like eight real breakthroughs and 8 real rewards that come from fasting. And those were just some of them. I didn't even touch them all. So this week, I'm going to touch a few of the others where you see people leaning into the things of God, leaning into the presence of God and the purpose of God through fasting. Because I just mentioned 8. I mean, there's so many more. Again, fasting is something that Jesus expected you to do. So in his famous Sermon on the Mount, he does not say if you ever fast. He says when you fast. And he doesn't really teach you like how to do it. It's something that he's almost like talking to an audience that already knows on it. He's saying, you ought to be doing this. This is a no-brainer. This is a common expectation to fast. And we talked about all that on Sunday, but I want to give you a couple more because I want you to fast these 21 days. And let's talk about Moses real quick here. Moses does a fast for 40 days. Now, funny enough, there are people, particularly even in the medical community, who are so big on fasting that you'll see them do 21 days. I've seen doctors even do 40-day fast. Now, I'm not telling you to go do that. Again, start small and build your fasting. But it's very possible, is my point. It's possible to fast and go without food for 40 days. And Moses does it. And the reason why Moses does it is because he is spending time with God, but it is when he receives the 10 commandments. Watch this. This is Exodus chapter 34, verse 27. And the Lord said to Moses, write these words in accordance with the words I have made a covenant with you and with Israel. So he was there with the Lord 40 days and 40 nights. He neither ate bread nor drank water. And he wrote on the tablets the words of the covenant, the 10 commandments. And so big encouragement for us as we start our fast is I want you to consider Moses. That Moses fasted for the purpose of hearing the voice of God. Many of us, that's something that we kind of lack in our life. We're talking about in this series on Sunday mornings called Game Plan, like how do I get clarity? How do I hear the voice of God? How do I know what God's plan and kind of game plan for my life is? One of the ways that you're going to tune in to the voice of God is through fasting. Many of you find yourselves in a particular season or circumstance of life, and you're like, man, I need a word from God about my situation. And so I want to let you know, fasting is a way that you're going to do that. Fasting is a way that you kind of tell your body to shut it down. And that way you get to tune out all the distraction and all the noise and all the chaos and anything else in your life that would be that, and begin to practicing stillness, practicing not just prayer, but fasting in prayer so that you can hear the voice of God. And so it's Monday morning. This is my invitation. Begin if you have not already. 21 days, church. Let's do it together. Let's fast for breakthrough. Let's fast for our nation. Let's fast for personal prayer requests in our life. Let's fast so that we can better hear the voice of God. Can I get an amen, church? I love you. God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow.